Hello everyone, this is Sunniva.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Imperial Settlers Empires of the North. A new game in the Imperial Settlers line designed by Ignacy Cevicek and Joanna Kijanka. And it's published by Portal Games.
So let's go down to the table and see how it plays.
Imperial Settlers Empires of the North is a card-driven game where you are going to play one of the clans in the game to build up your empire to score more points than your opponents. During the game, you are going to use your 30-card clan deck to build these cards out into your tableau. These are going to give you actions and different benefits which will help you build your engine and score points faster than your opponents. The game is going to last until one player has 25 points. After that round, you are going to count up the different end-of-game scoring points, and the player who has the most points after that is the winner. So during the game, you can do some different things. You can choose different cards which you have in your hand to build, using resources to build them. You can also use these action markers to choose different actions on this wheel. And the way this works is I'm going to put out one of my action markers and I can do that actions. Some of the cards I have in my hand might say that when I harvest I can play that card, so then I can do 2 actions at once. Then later in the round, if I have some food, I can spend the food to move this 1 space right or left, turn it over so it's spent, and do that action. That means that I can do at the most 4 actions during a round. After everybody has done their actions, these actions and also the actions on the cards and the card actions you have in front of you, you will be doing this sailing, because one of the actions is that you can sail with one of your ships. When I do a sail action, I'm going to put it out here. I can choose then to put a fish on it if I want to go here to the distant islands. I can also choose, if I have one of these race tokens, to put it on here to go and conquer that island. So when it comes to the sailing phase, now I have all the possibilities in the world. I can sail to whatever island I want, and I can either pillage it to get some resources here and now, or I can conquer it to get some benefit later in the game, and usually also a building bonus. You're going to, as I said, continue doing this until one player has 25 points, and you're going to count out the points, and the player with the most points is the winner of Imperial Settlers Empires of the North.
As always, let's start off with looking at the artwork and components. What do you think?
I think they're good. The cards are cards. They're pretty decent card quality on these ones. I love the artwork. It's kind of the same artwork from Imperial Settlers.
Yeah.
With cute little chibi persons from all over the world. Some really fun different artwork drawings. Like some fun mixed in with the different clans wherever they are from in the world.
Yeah, like the Vikings that just get drunk all the time.
Doesn't really care about anything. Yeah, I really enjoy it, and the card and the everything on the card, like the symbols are pretty simple to understand, and it's not too many different kind of cards, so I really enjoy it. Otherwise, it's just resources.
It's good quality though. It's what I expect from a Portal game.
Yeah.
And I also like it looks really friendly and colorful, and you want to play it. I like that.
Absolutely, and this tray is great.
Yes.
I love that more and more companies are doing just tiny bits to make the game easier to play. This is just take it off and you put it on the table, and you have all the resources you need where you need them, and I really like that.
Yeah, me too.
Anything you want to add?
No.
So it's good?
Yes.
You like the components and artwork as well?
Yeah.
That's good. Let's go to ease of learning from the rulebook.
Yeah.
That's my point. So I'm going to talk about that. The rulebook here is pretty big. It's like a hefty, big rulebook, but it's not too long. It's pretty short enough, and it does give you most of the rules. I do think that it's a pretty decent rulebook. I know that people usually have problems with Portal rulebooks, but I think this one is pretty decent. It had some problems with not telling you everything about all what the cards does. I'm going to look at a card and I will be like, no idea what this card is doing, or it's ambiguous and hard to understand exactly what it does. They have made an FAQ online, which you can go and check out, which has most of those questions answered. But you will probably be able to play the rules completely correctly by just reading the rulebook. So I think it is because it's a pretty simple game.
Yeah.
So I think that the rulebook is good.
Nice.
Cool.
That's good.
So let's talk then about playtime and player count.
Yeah, the playtime, I feel like this game has almost no downtime at all. And I really like that, because you do so little on your turn.
Yes, really quick.
And it goes round and round, and you usually have planned 4 or 5 turns ahead, even more. So it flies by pretty quickly.
Yeah, and the game takes about, the box says 45 to 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It does take around, we have played 2 and 3 players, we haven't played 4. And it took us about an hour with 2 and 1.5 hours with 3, so that's about half an hour with each player. That means that 4 players would take a bit more, probably, but we haven't played it with 4, so we can't really talk about that. But I like it with both 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Really almost the same. Like it doesn't, as you say, it's like really quick turns. So even with 3 players, and I think even with 4, it wouldn't be too much downtime, because basically on my turn I'm probably going to be like, I'm building this card. Maybe I do like one other thing, or I'm just getting a resource. I'm going to take this fish. So it goes quickly, which is really great for a game like this, because you just feel like you're building an engine and feel like you're getting stuff done.
Yeah, absolutely. And also because it's kind of a player solitary game at many points, so then you can plan what you're going to do on your opponent's turn. So there's very little downtime, I feel like. The only difference with playing with fewer people, like 2-player game, the sailing map is not that tight. With 3 or 4 players, I imagine that would be really fighting to get those.
First, yeah. With 2 players, you can basically, like, if you go there, I can be like, okay, maybe I'll go there now. With 3 players, and you see someone doing it, and you really want somewhere to go somewhere to a specific island, and you will have to go there fast.
Yeah, you have to hustle.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I like it at 2, I like it at 3. I wouldn't really mind playing it at any of those, and I wouldn't mind playing it at 4 if somebody wanted to play it at 4. I think it might be a bit too long, but it's a speculation, so let's not use any time on that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, playtime is about half an hour per player, and it works really well with 2 players, 3 players. Haven't played solo. We never played solo, so let's not talk about that. Complexity.
It's quite simple, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
And especially if you're already familiar with the Imperial Settlers concept.
Yeah.
This will be pretty easy to pick up on the rules and the concepts. So I think it's not that complex.
Of course, like the only problem, like if you played lots of Imperial Settlers, this game, like many of these kind of games where you have a game and you make a new game of it, it has one of those, this rule is different.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like, kind of like, okay, so you
have to remember that.
You don't get income, and you don't discard all of your resources again, these small little things, but it goes quickly, and we haven't played Imperial Settlers in many years, so it really didn't bother us at all.
No.
It's a real simple game. It's not like, it's not gateway simple. Like maybe you can play it after, like, this is a next step game. Like, I wouldn't introduce this as a gateway game, but as a next step game, it would work really well. And I think, like, the fact that you have this 30-deck card, and it's easy to make some decks kind of easier to understand, and easier to understand the cards and easier to get into, that makes it easier to get it to new players as well, because it's not like Imperial Settlers where you have like a common deck and then you have your own deck as well. It's just like, okay, you can get this because this is a simple deck. You can play that and you will understand how the game works. So
absolutely, I think the complexity lies in what of the clans you're familiar with as well. If you really enjoy playing the one strategy, you can think that another is quite complex actually, and you can't since there's no common pool deck, you can't like chance that you'll get some cards that will magically fit into your strategy.
What you want to do now.
You have to
see what the cards do. Yeah, absolutely. So complexity, I would say this is like a medium game. Like medium light, like it's medium light. It's pretty simple, but it's still fun decisions.
Yes.
So gameplay and fun factor.
Is it fun? I'm a little
It
unsure
is fun.
now.
For me, it is very much fun. I really like this game. I did like Imperial Settlers. I will say I like this more.
Yeah, that's cool.
For me, I really like this more. Like, do you have any points here?
Yeah,
or do you not have any points here at all?
I have so many points. I have all the points.
25 points and you win.
Yes, I won. Yeah. But I really like the sailing mechanism that I've added to the Imperial Settlers world. But what I like the most is the
action selection.
Placement.
The action selection where you have these hexes. It's hard to hold it up, but you saw it in the rules explanation.
I really love that. You get 2 actions no matter what, and then you can go like, oh, I'm getting a lot of resources. I don't need this the construct action. I don't need that one. I don't get a lot of food, so I can do a lot of things with my cards, and some are not heavy on like wood and stones and get a lot of food, and they can do 4 actions.
Yeah, because you pay a food to be able to do it again. What I really like about it is that you kind of, when I choose to do sail, if explore and construct is by them. That's the only other options I have. That means that with that action disc I cannot populate and I cannot do harvest. And that is super cool. Like, it's super simple, but it's a really simple, great way of doing that. You actually have to think, like, the actions can't be blocked because it's action selection, not worker placement. But it's just like, I would put it there. But if I put it there, I really also need to do that action. And that makes this a simple mechanism, but one that is really good.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones in the game.
Yeah, I agree. And also I think it's really cool when you're setting up the game and you're getting your, like, faction and you see on the wheel, because it's random setup every time. So I'm just like, oh, no, those actions aren't together. That sucks for my clan. Yeah, so that's cool.
One thing that was a problem in Imperial Settlers, and is often a problem in games like this, which is a card-based game where you're going to draw cards, is randomness.
Yeah.
There is randomness here, which is kind of like my only negative, like, if you, but I don't mind this game because it's quick, it's fast, and it is what it is. But what I really like that they have done here is that instead of having that common card pool and then your cards which you will draw, like when I played Imperial Settlers, maybe I drew like 10 of those cards, and that's like a really random if I get those cards that I wanted for my strategy or not. Here it's really nice because it's a 30 card deck, and that's the card you use. There's no common pool, it's just this deck of 30 cards for your faction. And that means that you will go through a lot more of those, and depending on what strategy you go, you will maybe go through all of them, and you will be able to get the cards that you need. Of course, the order you get them is going to be different, so you can be unlucky and draw cards which are not helpful in the beginning, and I can draw cards which are really helpful in the beginning. And that's kind of the negative, but that's always a negative in card drawing games, like games with this kind of randomness.
I think that it's actually harder to get more cards than you're intended to in this game, like compared to Imperial Settlers, because here you have to use one of your action tokens to do further exploring, and these action tokens I think are really valuable. I think it's a huge setback to use one of them to go exploring, and some of the factions have like bonus cards and stuff you can play when you explore. That helps a little, but if I have to use like one of my actions each turn to choose some like bad luck in the beginning, I have a huge disadvantage. And I think that was easier in Imperial Settlers.
I do not remember how that works in Imperial Settlers, so because it's so many years since I played it.
I remember it was easier, but now you as you say, you don't have to go through those common cards, so that's an advantage. Though.
Yeah, and that's also one of the things that makes this game a lot simpler. Like you don't have to build those basic cards and then destroy them to build your own cards. It's just like putting out an engine like super fast. It's like a distilled version of Imperial Settlers, which really feels like, with the added of the action selection especially, and that just feels it's super fun. Like I really love this game. What it's fun, like it's a quick engine building game. Like, and as I said, like in these kind of games, you just have to live with the fact that there's a randomness in it. So you just have to see, what do I have? What can I do with that?
Yeah.
And just do your best with that. Yeah. You have more points?
I just think that are we on like replayability now?
No, we're at gameplay.
Yes, okay. Then I have no more points.
I do have one. And that is that this game is kind of like almost a race game.
Yeah.
Because you're going to 25 points. And that's really cool because it feels like you cannot do the strategy that just sits there and then like boom gets the points, because if you do that too long, somebody else goes to 25 and you're like, yeah, I didn't get any points. But also you cannot rush it too much, because if you rush too much and you just get those points, maybe you don't get up and a lot of cards, maybe you do that. Like I played a really rush strategy the last time we played, and you didn't do that, but you played a lot of cards, and we ended up like pretty similar. I did win, but we ended up pretty similar in points. So there's many ways to score points, and you cannot just rush to to try to win. It will not always be the player who ends the game that will finish it, and that makes it not just a pure racing game, but it makes I like that dynamic. Like it's kind of this pressure. So if you see like I'm getting up points, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to have to squeeze out some points now because the game can soon end. You cannot build up that grand combo because you don't know when the game is going to be over.
Yes, I like that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So then let's go to theme. Just quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I like the themes that they made for the different decks. Like it makes sense, like you said, the Vikings that just want to get drunk. You have these kind of themes for all the decks, and that's really cool. It's based on different kind of places in the world and different kind of people, but it's not like really linked to that. Other than, of course, it's funny that the Vikings get drunk, and it's funny that the Scottish people have a bank as a boat.
Yeah.
Like these kind of things, which is fun, stereotypical fun. But yeah, I like the theme with that. But other than that, for me, it's just an engine building game.
Yeah. What ruins the theme for me a little bit is the Vikings going around eating tomatoes. I'm just
It's
kidding.
not tomatoes, it's food!
Yeah, but no, I don't mind the theme. Yeah, I don't care. So for the team in this game, I have no opinion on this matter.
What a shock.
Yeah.
So let's talk replayability. No, we are at replayability.
Yay! I think it's replayable.
You think so,
Like,
yeah?
I think you can play it 2 times. No, I think it's nice that you can. The game allows you to go for like, oh, now I'm just going to populate a lot and get a lot of dudes because I have so many actions that I can like just go for, and then you can go for a lot of resources and do not use your actions on that construct action. I think it's like. The rules that the game sets for you are not that limited, and I also think that the different clans gives you a lot of like exploring to do. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Replayable.
It is. Basically, there's 6 different decks, so then you can play the game 6 times, and probably want to play them at least 3 times to get, like, if you really want to get into the game, that's 18 times. That's a really replayable game for me. And then you have more decks coming. It's already been announced.
Yeah.
The first expansion, which is going to come out in Essen, and I'm going to get that because it's a really fun game. So, final thoughts?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes.
You want to start?
Yeah, I think it's a good game. I don't love it. I don't like it as much as you do.
I know.
But I wasn't like the biggest fan of Imperial Settlers either. But I think that they've done some great changes with this game, that it stands alone as one unique game, and I think that it's a 7 for me.
It's a 7, so above average game.
Yes, I will enjoy it, but I wouldn't necessarily suggest it that often.
But you will play it if somebody wants to play it, because I will play it. This is a super fun game. If you like Imperial Settlers, you're probably gonna like this. Like, if you like it because it was crunchy, you maybe not like this because it's a lighter game. It is a light game, but it is a really fun one. I think that this is one of those games that just speaks to me in fun, where I just sit down and it's just fun from the beginning to the end. I love the mechanisms, I love the engine building, I love the racing part, I love drawing the cards, trying to make combos, trying to make it work together. I really like this. This is an 8.5 for me.
Ooh,
so a really good
cool.
game, which is definitely gonna stay in the collection. A game I really enjoy. So that's the end, right?
Yes.
That's the end of the video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel and you are still watching, then please subscribe, because if you're still watching the video, you probably liked it.
Yeah.
So please subscribe, please click the notification button, the bell button, because then you will get notified when we make new videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
And I'm Siro.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.